Call this meeting to order. Donnie, can you please do the roll call?
Sudi is absent. Harrison Griffin.
Here.
Here. Bradley Cotton.
Present.
Justin. Present.
Okay. If we can all please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We have our police chaplain here today, also known as the president of KCU, Terry Alcorn. Terry, can you lead us in the invocation?
Happy to. Father, we come before you with humble hearts, asking that you would give us wisdom. I pray for the council, that they would make decisions according to your will. I pray that you would bless those of us in this room and bless the town of Grayson. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay, please be seated. At this time, I would invite the council to, if there's a need to amend the agenda, we should move to do so. If there is no need to amend the agenda in its current form, then I would entertain a motion to approve. We have a first and a second. Councilwoman McClung, seconded by Councilman Grayson. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I'd like to recognize our visitors. I'll start with visitors in general. You might have noticed we have Mike Nelson here with the Grayson Chamber of Commerce. Today, I think he's here with Go Radio.
Yes.
Mike, can you tell us what you'd be interested in doing for us?
Okay, so if you guys notice, I have my iPad set here. We are recording tonight's meeting and actually streaming it on our YouTube page. We started streaming East Carter Athletics earlier this year as a test to see how it would go. We've had numerous games where we've had a couple of thousand people watching at one time. So we are just basically running this test tonight to see how this goes. We will be able to stream the council meetings live on our Go Radio local TV YouTube page each and every month. If the council would like that, we have that capability of doing that. So tonight is a test on the video and the audio to see how that works and whether we make any additional adjustments.
Council Mike brought this proposal to me, and I went ahead and invited him if he wanted to do a test run. Of course, this is the council's chambers, so going forward, I would like to have your all's approval on this. I think it's be something everyone would be interested in doing. So, Mike, we welcome you here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, and thank you for the chamber luncheon today. I thought it was very informative.
Yes.
So we appreciate you all putting that together. We have some. Are there any other visitors not on the agenda who would like to come before the council today? What is it? Okay, seeing that there are no other visitors in general, we will go to our agenda visitors. We'll start with Andrew Smith. He's here on behalf of the Department of Corrections to talk to us today about inmate services. He doesn't really have a presentation. He's going to give us some basics of what the service they can offer us, and we will entertain questions.
If the council approves, you'll get 4 inmates a day for a minimum of 6 hours. There'll be training that the street department, the mayor, the jail will have to go to. It is $350 a month for all 4 inmates total. I mean, the city of Alfield does it, the LA County does it, and both of them love it.
I'm sorry, would you say how many hours a day?
It's a minimum of 6 hours.
We would have to go pick them up,
Yes.
escort them here.
Yes, and then whoever goes get them that day, if Damon goes and gets them that day, then you have to be with them, or if there's somebody else training, they can split up every two or three groups. So that,
Is it, is whoever gets them has to go return them?
no, whoever's on that approved pickup list.
So we'll need to get several. If we approve this, and I'm not asking for a motion or anything now, but we could get our guys in training as early as March 25th.
Yes.
And when you say minimum 6 hours a day, is there a minimum of how many days we have to work in a week?
Usually, City Hall Field and Hill County, they get them 5 days a week.
5 days a week. Okay. So we can get them up to that much.
Yes.
Do we have to?
I don't think so, no. I'll find out.
Okay.
I'll
Same,
find out.
is it the same cost if we don't meet that minimum?
No.
Okay.
If say that you don't get them for a couple days, then of course that will drop.
Okay, so it's kind of
Yeah,
prorated for the time.
that 350 was just for the whole month for 4 units.
How long, you know how long the training is?
It's about 4 hours. If that,
Limitations on what jobs.
they cannot run a chainsaw, but they can use a post saw. Makes no sense. So they can cut grass, weed, paint. If you need something remodeled on the city property, they can do that.
Awesome.
So
Great.
basic construction work
Yeah.
and landscaping.
They just can't, they can't drive tractors or stuff like that, but mowers.
Right.
They can.
Real basics.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, this is available to a certain category of inmates.
Yes,
So
it's
like,
it's the minimum hefty inmates, which I mean, yeah, their crimes are still bad, but I mean, they're closer to get out, and the more they work, the more time they get off their sentence.
And this is a rotating group, not the same people every time, or how is that?
It depends. Sometimes it's the same people, or the same force. Sometimes it's not. It depends on if they go to class that day, jobs working at their anything like that.
Can you explain a little bit how they're fed?
That one we call them sack lunches. It's basically just a couple sandwiches, a little bottle of water, or like the City Hall Field and Hill County goes to like local restaurants and gets some pizzas, like small pizzas, cheeseburger, whatever. But if y'all decide to do that, you don't have to go to the same restaurant.
do they have to get the same thing?
No, but it has to be like the same. They can't be 606 or then John's.
Right,
It has to be, the same, the same place.
I think that really covers the basics. Anything else we should know?
There's an armed guard that is with them?
It'll be, Joe, Damon, so we can go get them if he'll be on the approved list. But if we send somebody out, we won't be harmed either.
So,
Basically trustees.
Yeah.
so one of our people has to be with them all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
What's our people do? Stand there watching? I mean, I'm just,
Essentially,
what's that about?
They can work along with them.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, they can like,
So they're not like a guard?
no, they're basically just a transport service basically. They'll be if,
Damon was taken to the cemetery, you would have to be.
yeah. And you can be mobile.
And these are inmates that are, not gonna be a, threat to our citizens anyway.
I'm the one that's over this group, so I go to all field once a week, or I go check on them in Ellett County every so often. It just depends on how busy I am that week.
I would be comfortable seeing like what criteria they have to meet to become one of these,
If they're in the minimum custody level.
what,
Then
I'd
they're-
like to
to 755.
Oh, okay. So
Y'all
is it,
They've been doing this with the county for some time.
LA County,
Are you, Carter County?
Carter County used to, yes.
I would see guys.
Yeah, Carter County used to.
They don't anymore?
They use their own now.
well, they were out.
Yeah.
Oh,
The-
okay.
LA County,
Oh.
yeah, that's.
Oh, you're
yeah,
with-
other state
with-
prison.
Oh.
LA County's been doing it for 4 or 5 years.
But LA County don't come here, right?
No.
Carter County.
No, they just stay in LA County. But if the council approves, the only place they can work is the city limits of Grayson.
It seems like I've seen just recently, didn't they like clean up debris from like the wind or
That's probably the county.
ice or something?
That's probably the county using the jail in Carter County.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
Yeah, they have state limits.
oh, okay, I think y'all probably said that, I'm just not there.
It's all right.
I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I got you.
Well, we don't have to make a decision right now.
Right.
We got time.
We got-
This is just to give you all the basics. And,
Right.
Andrew, appreciate it. Of course, in case y'all don't know, Andrew's on our fire department.
Yes.
Lieutenant Captain, or Captain, yeah.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah. Very,
It's a very good program for them.
yeah.
And if you don't want that one inmate to come back, whoever my contact person is, just send me an email stating why you don't want it, and then he'll never come back.
All right, Andrew, thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Mr. Larry Doucette. He is here to request an amendment or change to the alcohol ordinance.
Hello, everybody.
Larry.
Larry.
Don't be ready to go anymore. As you know, as you all may have heard, I am putting a cigar lounge on 112 East Main Street. They used to be the old Bob Smith Jewelry Store back in the day, or last entity was the Collins and Company.
Oh, okay, where the tattoo shop is.
Right next to it. So what I'm wanting to do is have the license amended so where I can sell bourbon. I don't want to sell beer, don't want to sell anything but top shelf bourbon.
Okay.
Not going to be a bar. You have to come in. Of course, obviously, I have to go through ABC to get my license to sell cigars, which I've already started that process. With that, I'm going to be selling cigars. I'll be selling small humidors. I'll be selling pipe tobacco and pipes themselves. Of course, ashtrays. All the stuff that's relegated. And you'll be able to sit inside and smoke a good cigar while you're waiting for a jury to decide a verdict. Our hours are we're not going to open up till 11 o'clock in the day, and we won't stay open on the weekdays, not past 9 o'clock, maybe even 8, depending on how business is.
Right.
And on the weekends, we'll be shut down by 10.
And this is kind of off the question, but is there a certain type of ventilation you have to have?
Yes,
So it's
I'm doing everything. I've got a
Okay.
cigar ventilation.
Just interested.
Right now, I've invested over $125,000.
Right.
Okay, and I still have more to do with the heating and air, but yes, I also have to keep like one room open just for deliveries, because it has to be smoke free. But yes,
I'm just curious on that.
yes.
Because I mean, I know there's other areas that have this, and I've always just been kind of
Well,
curious of how.
it's the newer ones that have to have the ventilation, the older ones are not required because they're grandfathered in.
in.
Right.
Of course.
So that's what I'm wanting to do. Now, there's another, I don't want to sell sandwiches and try to go that way. I know I can apply for a license where I can sell sandwiches and sell, without having, I don't really want to do that. I'd like to just be above board. I don't want to have a club with rent lockers so people can come in and have a locker and then drink. Somebody may just want to come in and chill out. And that's what I'm looking at doing. I don't know where on the ordinance, because I'll be honest with you, I tried to read this for a week now, and I'm not that smart.
Well, I was just gonna ask, why don't you just point us to the changes?
Well, that's the reason why I was hoping Jason would help us.
Me and the city administrator had looked at this. If we were going to amend, I think maybe we would
figure out a way to put it in section 2.11.
Oh, section
Page 6, I mean, and just kind of add it on maybe to that section, maybe another subsection. Or you could create a new section for it, to specify how it's governed.
So.
No, not a private club, and that's been struck through, that was taken out, so. 'cause
Grayson?
that would require the,
So you're saying add language?
add language, yes.
What would that language look like?
Just basically add a provision for a non-quota type retail drink license for this type of organization.
The current language looks like it accommodates a bed and breakfast. So patrons at the bed and breakfast can be served beverages like as an overnight guest. So,
You just add, I just add a section.
yeah, we would add a section.
I mean, that's how I'd recommend it. If that's,
But it would mirror kind of that.
yeah, I mean, it would be just another, yeah.
So what would that open the door to possibly?
Could open the door for just more, single bar potentially. But I mean, we could tailor the language however the council likes to,
To fit that, okay.
Not
that's not so appealing, not bar.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm not the expert.
Probably, I would say, but would that be in the wording that's?
Taking out the food sales percentage.
Yes. Right, because I mean,
You got it back at way out for us.
well, most of our licenses, it seems like, you know, and there's a little bit of even ambiguity with it, but I mean, the most of the licenses are under the part where there's a restaurant attached to it. But,
The percentage of your sales has to be from food.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is that to sell just beer? The percentage of the sale, is that all alcohol?
All alcohol.
Okay.
Now, a lot of this is also based on.
Specifically, just.
or you can make it a quota, and you can say, well, we only want to have, you know, we only want to issue so many licenses for this. I'd have to look at that, but.
Okay.
From a state regulatory perspective as well, one of the reasons we have this quota system is likely because when you have just a bar, it's much more stringent regulation.
You're exactly right.
And so, you know, so that's in a way, I think it might have been modeled off some of the state stuff.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I don't know the discussions that have been in that was prior to my time.
And just for argument though, would that not just be considered a bar?
No,
Well, it depends, I guess, because what Jason's saying is if you make some sort of quota, if they sell a product, like a cigar and tobacco, theoretically, they're selling their
Something
primary
other than
business.
alcohol.
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Either tax percentage
Right.
on that like you
You
do.
can
food
do
I
that.
think that's what, Jason, you could.
You could, yeah, I mean,
You can, you know.
that way, I mean, if the council's concerned that we want to open the door, then you just say, well, we want this time.
Right. I'm just trying to.
You have to meet this
Be
criteria.
ahead
I mean,
of
that
the
way,
game.
I mean, if we're looking at competing cigar lounge, I mean, they would be able to.
now, and I'm gonna be, I don't drink,
Right.
and Dustin can attest to that. But, I do know that cigars and bourbon go together well.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to, I mean, I don't drink bourbon either, so,
Right.
I suspect every, you know,
But-
you go to Louisville, there's bourbon cigar.
Right.
And you go to Sandy's,
Fat, those 6 Brown has a fat ash. You know where Summit is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a longer.
That's what that is. It's a
okay,
cigar
so,
lounge.
yeah, I mean.
It's a little different system.
But yes, yes.
And, it's gonna employ 3 to 4 people, so it's gonna increase taxes. Also, I have 2 law enforcement that are gonna be working there, and everybody will be STAR certified.
Right.
So, I'm personally STAR certified, where I've been selling event license, while I've been getting my liquor license for the events, and other people that I've had working for me are all certified as well. And, you know, we just plan to keep it clean and quiet. There's not gonna be any bands, there's not gonna be anything like that. It's just gonna be, you come in, there's gonna be some jazz playing or some blues. Just peaceful, relaxful place,
I wish I drink
recliners.
bourbon and smoke cigars, that all sounds great.
You can come in and I'll give you a pipe with hair bubbles in it.
There we go.
But that's for y'all consideration, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. I consider that for sure. Always like to look at for new businesses to kind of start, for sure.
This is gonna take some legal research, Jason will obviously have to prepare some language.
Right.
I'm sure we'll have, check, we can help check.
The ABC in the ABC portion of the work.
Very good, prepare something. Okay, with that, we can move on, we'll move on to new business.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, guys.
We'll start with the passage, or the approval of the minutes. We have our regular meeting minutes from February 10th, 2026.
I saw organized, I saw.
Is there a motion to approve, or is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 10th?
I make that motion to approve them.
We have a motion, or just, we have a motion.
Me, is a motion, and
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Discussion, if council needs more time, we're happy to allow discussion. Is everyone finding their minutes okay? I'll go ahead and just give you a quick rundown. It looks like this is the meeting in which Gerald presented to the utility, presented the utility end of year report. We also heard Pathways Mark Dooley. There was a motion, we entered back into the Carter County Library interlocal agreement. We renewed our Grayson sanitation franchise renewal. And then of course we did some business in regard to Tony Lee. And there was, we came out of the executive session, and that was when we purchased the name.
He's sworn in, Dean, so.
Sorry?
He's sworn in, Dean, so.
Let's see if that's in the minutes, thank you. Yeah, I'm not, has anyone seen it in the minutes? I'm afraid that's not in.
It's at a point. It says point assistant chief, be nice and.
Oh, I see it now, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, I see it now. Very good. Okay, well, good, sounds like we have that covered. Is there any more discussion? All right, is there, all in favor, vote by saying aye? All opposed? Motion carries. We have special meeting minutes from February 24th, 2026. This was the meeting in which we had discussion on vacancy. City Council, we went to executive session. No action was taken.
I'm gonna sit right now, I'll bring it earlier, so I'll.
We have first and second. Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor, vote by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I would like to pay tribute to the Councilman Willis Johnson. Willis had a very good ceremony. I think he was well honored by the town during the week of his funeral. And at this time, I just, in honor of Willis and to remember him, I'd just like to open the floor to anyone who has a fond memory of Willis or anything they'd like to say about Councilman Johnson.
I'll just say that, he's been around for as long as I can remember. I started coaching at Pritchard Elementary in mid to late 80s. And we shared the floor, and sometimes Willis and Will shared the floor with the basketball players and the cheerleaders, but it never failed. Seriously? I know, but it never failed, though. We may have a few little words, but then he would always say, all right, just take it. But then, being on the council was, to me, a privilege to be on with him, because what short period of time, to spend, really sad his passing.
because it was a daily fight for the floor. And I told her, I said, Wilson, I fought every day. Not, but, you know, but then everything was a joke. It was like junkie fight.
Yeah.
But we were both very, yeah, about our floor time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, I worked with Willis for many years and in different capacities. We just kind of, he knew how I was and I knew how he was. So it was all good.
I can tell a funny one and a serious one. I had surgery 3 years ago. Willis's health had already started deteriorating. He had some health issues. And I had gone to see him numerous times in the hospital. I had surgery, woke up the next morning, I don't know if it was even sunlight yet, and look over, Willis is sitting at the foot of my bed. And I said, Willis, what are you doing here? I said, you were just in here. And he said, that's what friends do. And he sat there with me for about 25, 30 minutes. I mean, it was a struggle for him to get there. You know, I had surgery, and I was willing to go help him to the car, you know. But the second one was I was coaching middle school football, and I had his grandson, and we were short on officials. He said, I'll ref for you Thursday. I called, and I got it approved. He said, this guy's, you know, he's got a grandkid on the team. Do you care? And they said, no. He got plowed. He couldn't get out of the way, and he just ran over. And he got up, finished the game. I mean, he had blood running down the side of his head. He finished half, went home. Next week, he showed up with a cane to ref. And when we told him, I was like, it's time to hang it up. We'll hang the whistle up. But he, it's kind of how he lived his life. He
That's right.
died with his boots on.
Thank you for sharing, brother. Anyone else? Huh?
I've got a really funny one. I don't know if y'all remember Sherry Gallion. She was here. Her first day here, she was part-time, and Willis was belly laughing, and he had his pants pulled up really high on his waist. He started laughing in there, and next thing you hear is like his belt hits the floor. Sherry's first day, she just immediately turned her head and stopped standing there and picks his pants up, pulls them back up, and George tells him, don't come back tomorrow without suspenders. So he comes in the next day, and he comes in with his jacket on, and he says, where's Sherry? It happened to be her day off because she was part-time. We were like, she quit, she's not coming back. And he's like, well, shoot, and he goes like this, and he has his suspenders on. That's the funniest thing. And he ate the craziest food, didn't he, Joe? You never knew. Anything that was in there, we would start cooking. We would cook for sometimes. And we would, he'd say, I'll stir it. We'd say, okay, so we'd go back to work and he could stir the food. We'd come in here and there'd be everything from the cabinet in our pan that he was mixing everything with it. None of us would eat it after that. He's like, oh, that's good, why aren't you eating that? Because you put stuff in it that doesn't belong. Yeah, he loved it.
And that's, I have a unique perspective on that because while he was the ABC officer, I spent a lot of time behind the bar at Bezos. So I had lunch with Willis probably about 3 times a week. And you'd have to go buy onions after he came in because he'd eat like a slice of onion on a sandwich this thick,
Yes.
along with an entire bucket of peanuts.
And he would eat it on rice cakes too.
Yeah.
Just
You can hand him anything. But it was, I really enjoyed my lunches with Willis. So
Me too.
it was cool.
He was always respectful. He did a shithead at school.
Yeah.
Just respectful.
Since you mentioned that, Dustin, he was I don't know if he was my substitute teacher or normal teacher in middle school, but I know I was kind of a class clown, and he had to threaten that he had a video camera hidden in the room on me, and he told me, he said, well, I've got a video camera watching me now. But it straightened me up.
Yeah, he's always respectful. Always.
I'll just say this, Willis, I think, I was always surprised he never held public office or ran for public office. Of course, we put him on the council. Some of the members here were on council when we put him on. And I just think he really had a heart for serving. I think he really enjoyed serving. Whether it was ABC, he took that very seriously. He was very congenial with
We
people
had
who do business
great
here.
relationship with him.
And, you know, you don't get that everywhere. So, It was an honor to have him work in the city. I think it was an honor to have him on council. And, I really enjoyed working with him. Well, is there anyone else who'd like to honor Willis at this time? Okay, we'll move on. So, we obviously have a vacancy on city council that we need to fill. The members here, we have convened and we've discussed, and we, of course, extend the invitation to Terry Stamper. Terry, how many years have you served on council?
I was on for 18 years.
18 years, okay. Good. That's good, because Bradley was worried you might not have it.
I asked
he
that
was, he was filling me in, but
tell him what you did, like you, the gavel meant the meeting started.
We were worried about experience.
Careful what you say, the media's right there.
No, joking aside, we want to welcome you back, Terry. If you will, I'll stand and administer the oath. Oh, before, I'm sorry, I'm gonna, of course, this is for the council to nominate. This is not an action I can nominate on. This is the council's appointment. So at this time, we will need a motion to appoint Terry to fill the vacancy on city council.
made a motion.
I'll say.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Motion is approved. Terry, please stand. Will, raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully execute
and I will faithfully execute
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
the office of city council person,
the office of city council person,
according to law,
according to law,
and I do further solemnly swear
and I do further solemnly swear
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I being a citizen of this Commonwealth,
I, being a citizen of this Commonwealth,
have not fought a duel
have not fought a duel
with a deadly weapon
with a deadly weapon
within this state,
within the state,
nor have I sent or accepted
nor have I sent or accepted
a challenge to fight a duel
a challenge to fight a duel
with a deadly weapon,
with a deadly weapon,
nor have I acted as a second
nor have I acted as a second
in carrying a challenge,
in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted
nor aided or assisted
any person thus offended.
any person thus offending,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Terry.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Gotta love it.
Oh, yeah. March 10th. I don't think we're gonna
Day
say
that's
that.
living infamy.
All right.
You get me.
Okay, continuing on. So council, this ordinance was made and drafted at the recommendation of Jason. What it is, the councils and city governments have a time frame in which they can adjust compensation for elected officials. We passed an ordinance in December, it was either December or November, I'll have to make sure to change that language if it was November. That theoretically set the compensation for the next term. Okay? We decided that it was not going to be effective immediately, and so the compensation is not changed, except for cost of living adjustments, which are authorized by the state government. Just to remove any uncertainty, just to clarify what the compensation will be for anyone, city council, elected officials, city council, or the mayor, starting in January of 2027. We want to clarify that and fix that permanently. We don't want any question or confusion. So for that reason, we are going to recommend adopting this new ordinance that essentially sets the same compensation, except it has been adjusted to reflect the most current cost of living adjustment. So we went ahead and just added that in. For the mayor's office, it was an additional $860. For the council, it was an additional $160. Jason, anything you would like to add?
No, it's all been covered.
If we have a motion, we can move into discussion. If there is.
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve, or motion to approve and conduct first reading?
Sure.
First and second, any discussion?
I looked through the budget, the budget looks like we're in pretty good shape right now. Just want to make sure that it can support these wages right here.
Yes. This wage increase will be will not take effect until 2007. So when I'm sorry, 2027. So when we pass the budget for fiscal year 26-27, that is when we will need to ensure that the increased rates are set by budget.
So my question is, these rates were increased due to the state's COLA?
Yes.
Okay, so it isn't anything, because I don't recall ever discussing this in our past council.
This is something the Department of Local Government sends the municipalities every year.
Right.
So every year you can make the adjustment that they allow you. It's an administrative matter. It doesn't need any sort of council approval. That might be why we've not discussed it.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave you. This is a copy of what they sent us. It is for legislative measures too.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right, I guess trying to get across and I don't want to have a thing to resolve and get ourselves raised.
Terrence, that's an absolutely wonderful point. And it's a great question because in theory, it can get a little confusing, but I'll make it simple. If we pass an ordinance that says you get paid $500 a month, and 4 years go by, is $500 4 years later worth what it was 4 years ago?
Right.
So you're entitled to receive the compensation that was set at that year.
Right.
So in fact, it's not truly a raise.
And the cost of living.
It's a cost of living.
Yeah, I get the call.
But it can very easily be misunderstood. And that,
Right, no, I just don't want that misunderstood.
it deserves explanation.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you asking because it can be misinterpreted quite often.
If you're right.
And then according to the statute, it has to be passed in, what, no later than May of the
Yes,
election
now
year?
what Terry's asking about is if I get elected for an office, county or city, my compensation when I start that office cannot change during my term.
Right.
There are some exceptions, but in general, that's the rule.
Right.
So that's why we're setting it now. So it's telling whoever's going to run for office. that you-
This is the rate
This is the rate at which you will be compensated, and it announces to anyone interested in running for office what you could be entitled to receive.
I understand.
The reason, and Terry mentioned the first Monday in May, the reason you have to do it by the first Monday in May for cities is because if we changed it right before May, there's only one more month to run for office,
Right.
to apply for office.
Right.
So it would be a really good way for people to increase their compensation and hope no one else runs. So that's why we're doing it now. We have to do 2 readings.
Okay.
So that's the reason it's being brought to you today. Today would be a first reading, and then we would have time to conduct the second reading before the first Monday in May.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? The motion has been made to conduct the first reading. There is a second. At this time, there's no more discussion. We will conduct the first reading.
Oh, no, that's right, it does.
Ordinance number 01-2026, ordinance fixing the compensation of the elected officials of the city of Grayson, Carter County, Kentucky, whereas the Grayson City Council is required to fix the compensation of elected city officials by ordinance no later than the first Monday of May in the year officers are elected, and whereas the Grayson City Council passed ordinance 02-2024 on or about December 18th on allow to fix the compensation elected to city officials, but it cannot take effect until January 1st, 2027, and whereas the compensation of elected city officials has not changed, excluding cost of living adjustments from that which existed before the adoption of ordinance 02-2024, and whereas the Grayson City Council finds it appropriate to pass a new ordinance removing the question of compensation of elected city officials starting their term on January 1st, 2027. Now therefore it be ordained by the City Council of the City of Grayson, Carter County as follows. All previous ordinances fixing or attempting to fix compensation of elected city officials are hereby repealed. This includes ordinance 02-2024 and ordinance 205-2014. Compensation for Mayor Grayson shall be set at $32,860 per year, payable in equal monthly installments. Compensation for each member of the Grayson City Council shall be set at $6,160 per year, payable in equal monthly installments. This ordinance shall become effective upon its adoption and publications provided by law.
All right, thank you. With that, we have conducted the first reading. I will say, based off of what we know here, the compensation has not really changed since 2014. So that's been a good 12 years. And 3 terms of mayor's office, and then of course 6 councils. So I think it's just well justified. Okay, with that we will. That is completed. I'm going to try to move this on because I know we have a lot of reports, but I will briefly bring this up. So, and we've discussed this before. KLC allows public officials, officers of the city who are not elected, as well as elected, to receive what's called a training incentive. We would have to pass an ordinance permitting compensation for training. So it's very similar to how the police receive a training stipend beyond the regular compensation. So for example, Joe here is a master of city, you got level 3, is that right? Okay. This would allow him and anyone else to be compensated for achieving certain levels. Donita is a certified municipal clerk, but she would also be entitled to this form of compensation. I think why I'm bringing it up to you now is because in anticipation of our future budget, that we might want to consider adopting that to not only rewards people who completed the training, but also incentivizes people to do more training. So we don't have that ordinance here today. It's just a discussion topic. Does anyone have any discussion or questions on it? I don't have all the information, but I may be able to answer some questions. But really, what we'd have to decide is at what level, what amount do we want to award? And I think it goes all the way from $0 to $1,000 is the cap for each level.
Per person.
Yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Does that include planning and zoning and
It
board of
does.
adjustments?
It can, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, so for example, it really depends on who the council wants to include, but we do have planning and zoning members that go and attend training and do receive hours. Now, it's hard to get a level 1 just going to planning and zoning trainings. But for example, one of the reasons Joe's a level 3 is because he worked in planning and zoning, then he worked in alcohol and beverage. So he was able to accumulate 60 hours of this, 60 hours of that, etc. So it's through the KLC. Kentucky League of Cities is who the training program is administered by.
When it's going to time, Kentucky will do that. In the meantime, perhaps see what cities of similar size do.
Right.
Kind of get some
terms of
data on that.
Okay, that's what I'll reach out to KFC, Councilwoman, and I'll try to get some of that. So, okay, any more discussion on that? All right, then I think that's, I just wanted to bring it up as a discussion topic because we're on the topic of compensation. Okay, so. Council, there's a topic I do want to bring up to you, and it's basically concerns the insurance premium tax. We have had a steady increase in our insurance premium tax. Based on the last 4-year projection and the current year, we're taking in steadily above, every year it increases, okay? And I have a report for you. I don't know what to attribute it to other than the fact that people's home insurance as well as car insurance is probably increasing, and therefore the rate which we tax them by is more. Now again, we just talked about how in 4 years, $500,000 might be $600,000 a day. But if we were to lower the insurance premium tax, we would have to do it by the 23rd of this March. So what I'm trying to bring to the council's attention is, I think we owe it to the citizens to consider lowering the tax based on what we bring in. Our current rate is 10.5%, and I'm going to have that report for you shortly if Jimmy has it. But any general thoughts on that?
Well, it's about the taxes for our citizens, so that's about the only thought. And we got involved in the heads and agrees.
We would have to, well, it's at 10.5%. I mean, what sort of reduction are we looking at?
I'd like to see that chart, to see, what,
Yeah.
what does that translate as?
Yeah.
We're talking about things that cost money,
Yes.
followed by lowering our, so, yeah, you gotta make sure everything works, so.
What's the,
I'm like everybody else, I just.
does anyone know the county's insurance premium tax? I believe it's set at 6.5%. And this is what was enacted to pay for the jail. Is that right, Jim?
Yes, it was jail ordinance.
That's the thing, they raise it, they rarely lower it. How come we landed on 10? How long has it been that way?
Jim,
Long
Jim,
time?
or we could just dump it. Well, years ago when Bob Commissar was in his prime, he was, Grayson needed a fire truck. Funny how some things change, some things never stay the same.
We still do.
So, it was the highest amount you could enact at the time. And so it was just kind of theorized that they would bring in enough to buy a truck, and that's what they did. And it's been at that rate ever since.
So we're gonna try to find a way to meet the middle. Like, people are paying an increase, so more is coming in. So if we lower, at least it's kind of, we're getting, it's kind of, just preventing it, from put it all on the people's backs.
It might not affect our,
Right.
Exactly.
But at least it's not, it's not added expense.
Maybe we look and see, based off inflation, I mean, 4 years ago, what is that, what we brought in 4 years ago, what is that today?
Well, I can tell you this, my insurance went up, and I was told when I called to ask about it, is because the lady told me exactly, it goes to meet the need for what it would cost to live in your town. So, she had my zip code.
Donnie, this is not the correct.
He just took the rest of it, it's 1050.
This is what it's brought in each year.
For the last
That
5
can't
years.
be correct, based on what I saw earlier today, they're all the same numbers.
Oh, they were all the same.
Here you
I'll
go.
go.
We cap it at 586.
No, I'll go ahead.
It's 680.
Sorry.
goggles.
I had some reports ran, but some of the, oh, I have it here. Okay, here's an updated occupational test.
This occupational.
I'm sorry, municipal.
Thank you.
That shows.
On fiscal year 21-22, we were at almost $600,000. In 24-25, we were at $725,000.
You want me to tell them that you found it? They
Yes.
don't need to do it?
It's a good combination of lots of things, because they didn't change.
Well, we want
The
to
cost
do.
of the insurance,
try to find
the
a
amount of people
compensating rate.
buying insurance. What's that?
I said, we want to try to find a good compensating rate.
Wait, it's easy.
The excess. Although keeping in mind also, that our expenses are lower as well, you know, but there's got, I'm sure there's a place, there's a space
Let me
somewhere.
put it to you this way, based on what I can find out on inflation, what we brought in on 21-22 should have been $684,000 in 24-25. So you can see there's roughly $40,000 beyond what we normally bring in. If you do that on a percentage basis, 725,000. Jimmy, if we lower it 1%, if we lower it 1%, that's, I mean, if we lowered it 1%, that would drop it almost $70,000. So I don't think we have much room other than a 1% decrease.
Mr. Mayor, just for, explain, like now, that there's not a fire truck to purchase. What does this money do?
No tax is dedicated to a single use.
Right, I'm just saying, I mean, that was kind of like the,
Yeah, but that was the impetus.
right. So now, what would we say, okay, does this go to general fund?
Yes.
Okay.
I tell you what, here's what I recommend we do. My goal is to bring this to your attention. We'll talk about this outside the meeting. We might have, of course, individually, we could have to call special meetings and change the ordinance anyway. So you're aware of the issue, you're aware of what we brought in.
There's a deadline on this too.
23rd.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But all it would take is
I
a
mean, we
decision.
could do it.
Yeah,
we
a
just
changing
gotta
of the
make
ordinance.
sure we get inside the deadline.
We'll move on because we do have other reports. Okay, well, at this time, is there any other business? Yes, there is. We have a request from Love's Travel Stop. They wanted to make, Taylor, why don't you just explain it around here?
Okay, down at Love's Truck Stop, they're getting ready to do a remodel. They're gonna add some new fuel islands on the end for the big trucks, not out front, this is everything out back. They're adding a couple of new islands to have more fuel stations. They're tearing down their old tire repair shop and gonna go back in the back of that big lot down and build a new tire garage for trucks. Okay, when they add those, islands When they had those islands, they had a scale there where those truckers could check their weight. Well, this is gonna crowd that scale back a ways. So what they're saying, if they extend all that out, those trucks are not gonna, if you ever looked at a truck, how their trucks come out, they come out and make a real sharp U-turn and go back up. They're wanting to add another entrance back there, or another access to Rupert Lane. So when those trucks come out, instead of U-turning in the parking lot, they would actually come out on Rupert Lane and go back down and hit. It's really no different than now, because they're coming across Rupert Lane. This is all past, this is all past the parking lots and everything. This is past, routes and everything. This is just down there on the Love section.
Yeah, okay, so they come out just before Rupert Lane.
If you look on that thing, I've got two black lines. You see them two black lines I drew on there to your left? That's where they would come out at.
So this is behind the Super 8 motel. There's a big parking lot behind the Super 8. Okay?
They own already.
They would be able to turn from the semi-truck fuel pumps behind Love's, and turn over. They're basically going to build a superstructure on our storm drain, okay? And then they would go over where our storm drain is onto Rupert Lane.
Yeah, to build a new entrance back there, just for the trucks to exit out of.
But how far is Rupert Lane are you?
Well,
They're not
technically,
coming up Rupert at all, they would make a left and go back down Rupert.
okay.
Let me show you on that map, it's hard to explain.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can assist here. Rupert Lane ends where they're wanting to put this in. It is just in.
I knew I was gonna get it, that's why.
It's a track. All right, okay, here you go.
It's okay. So this is just inside.
Here's where the fuel nets are now.
This is just inside Rupert Lane. It's the very end of Rupert Lane.
Back behind the motel. They're just wanting to cut,
Yes.
entrance right here.
The road between Love's and the gravel lot is actually not Rupert Lane. That's a private easement.
They would just come out here and go back down.
It's really no
You don't say like favorite centers stuff?
No, that's not part of
Right now,
Rupert
they
Lane.
do this. The difference is when they extend them out, is they won't have room down here because that scale. They're just
They'll be able
gonna
to
come
turn
out here
left,
and go
not
back.
right.
If they had to
Go
come
back
out
and
on,
talk more about the story.
which it really ain't Rupert Lane then, Rupert Lane.
Oh, you're on the wrong side.
They
You're on
just
the
come
wrong
out
side.
way too far into their parking lot and the trucks would come back up here and go back out.
Interstate Drive. They could, but that's not ours.
Where's the entrance on 60 out here, right here off Carroll Malone. Yeah, out here is Carroll Malone. I'm in the back. So this is that main drag you see all them trucks coming down the Wendy's, drive through here. So they come in here, come in, get their fuel, then they just U-turn and go back out. This here, when they extend all that out, there's not really much room here for them to U-turn, so they want to come across and come back out. And they're gonna build a new bridge and everything here, just like they have here.
Yeah.
It puts them closer to that
It does.
lumpy gravel road that needs to.
Let's bring this in a little more order. Can we get a motion? Right now, what the council will need to do,
Right.
the council will need to accept this alteration to our public roads. So let's get a motion on the floor to accept the alteration and get a second and we can go into discussion.
You carried off my mind.
Oh, I did.
Here it comes, that's okay.
Do y'all understand now what we're talking about?
Yes, sir, it's very little change.
Is there a motion to
Building
accept
that exit.
the alteration to the public road?
I'll make that motion so we can discuss it. I want to hear more about the storm drain.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have first, second, we can now go on discussion, more discussion. Okay. The superstructure that they're gonna build, we can set this up that we give them permission to make an alteration and then require them that their structure has to be also approved by us and Taylor.
Yeah, and they've already assured us that the new bridge, culvert, whatever you call it, would carry the same amount of stormwater as the other. It would carry, cubic feet wise, it would be just as big as the one that's there already.
I got a question. Do you know if they're paving that or gonna concrete it? Because if they do, it's gonna take more water. If they concrete it or.
I think
That's
that,
already concrete. No, it's not concrete there. It's,
They, if I had to guess, and I think Taylor mentioned this to me, they were probably thinking about concrete, a precast concrete structure that you would lay in the ditch. And then it's essentially a bridge.
Just a little mini bridge or down across. If you go down there and look at the one that's there now, it's just a big box culvert, it's like a bridge.
We can make sure that we can give them permission to do this condition on.
But as they said today, that they're just looking at this possibility, they may not even do it. But they wanna know if they can, and then they would come back, because they gotta figure out how much it's gonna cost and everything, and show us what it would look like for the final version.
Well, yeah, I think we need to see more, like Dustin said, if surfaces get paved, more water runs, that's been an ongoing, that whole thing down there has been a water issue since.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing, but
I mean,
it's gonna probably,
it's a consideration for sure.
Well, if they collect, if they make, okay, let's just say that's concrete, that's blacktop. If they go back there and all that water that is supposed to be collected, if they concrete or blacktop where the trucks are turning around, that's gonna gather more water.
The only added blacktop would just be the bridge itself, other than unless they take that lot, but the lot is not in the city limits, where they're building the lot is not in the city limits. Just the existing building, their big lot,
It's not, it's on the farm part of it.
The storm.
The storm sewer would be about the edge of the city
The
limits.
bridge.
The storm sewer is our ongoing
There's
thing all the time.
The storm drain.
So I think it's something to keep in mind.
The storm drain belongs to us. Before they could do any excavation, they would also have to get a permit just for that.
There's a stake and everything, you know,
Yeah.
the state's gonna check and everything, but the only added blacktop in the city would just be the size of that bridge, which would probably be like 20 foot wide and 30 foot long.
Well, I think that it's a good thing, but we definitely need to.
I'd like to see their finished
I would like
before.
to see a
Yeah.
finished product. I mean, I think it's a good thing, but I'd still like to see it. Because Dixie, because that place floods through there anyway.
What would be the city's responsibility with all, any kind of change like upkeep, things like that around that area? Would anything change for us?
I mean,
Unless too much water is diverted
Well, it's not
across the line into the city somewhere.
we need to figure out if we're gonna take action on this. I think we should condition this, we can give them permission. The plan has permission to proceed in that way, but it's conditioned on, that they have proper drainage and they go through our drainage system and approval system for drainages.
Yeah, and I included, Gerald in this too.
And I think they will know to not proceed without giving the specifications on the drainage structure. And I think they actually said they can get us those specifications in a couple of weeks, Taylor.
That's what they said, that, you know, they just wanna make sure that they're allowed to do that before they go through that process. Basically, it changes the whole plan and the whole process, the whole project if they can't do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna move that everyone vote that this motion we have on the floor down, and we're gonna do a new motion, so. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, but I think we had 3, it's a majority. So, it looked unanimous, so except, I think Teresa did change her vote. So, now we're gonna, is there a motion to accept the project, the plan, the way, the project, accept the proposed project and change alteration of the road conditioned upon getting approval for the structure and proper permitting for the ditch? Is there a motion for that?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I will second that to see the plan.
Okay. All right, so this, approval's conditioned, yes.
Along these same lines, remember when we did a study on that a couple
Yes.
years ago?
Yes.
But it was gonna be cost prohibitive for the city to get it fixed,
That's right.
Has anything else been done?
Terry, thank you for bringing that up. The Bell Engineering Sewer project had various points where they propose making alterations. This is definitely one of those points. What we can do is go back and look at that plan to see if they can build that section up to spec with what the original Bell's plan was. Ed Woods has made alterations further down. He's opened the ditch as well as redirected it under that easement that goes out to Rupert Lane. And we've also expanded the ditch
We cleaned them up, we got made it a lot bigger.
further down. And it has helped alleviate, but no significant structural changes have been made. That's a good recommendation. We can work off Bell's proposal.
Yeah, maybe we can get part of it fixed this way.
Yes, yes. So with that, the understanding is this plan is permissible, conditioned upon proper drainage structure.
I want to clarify, this motion is only for them to proceed with planning, but not an approval of the project, is that correct?
Yeah, they cannot start any work on it.
Because
They gotta get a
I would
permit.
have to be a firm no, unless, yeah, if they could go from here.
Taylor, make sure they know they have to do this. They have to get a permit. We have a permit.
Because I just.
Okay.
No.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
So with that, I think.
If y'all wanna meet me down there one day,
I was like,
I'll take you
come
down there.
get your.
I'll take you down there and show you what I'm talking about.
So I think
Or
we have,
what they're talking
I think this will be acceptable to them. I think they just need approval to know that they can use this plan if they can meet our conditions. So I think that'll help them, is what they're looking for. With that, is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Let's take, actually, Mr. Rice, I noticed that you're here. We're in new business, we're in other business. Is there anything you would like to?
Yeah, you need me to come up there? I was, can everybody see me all right here? I hate to knock this over trying to walk through. I've talked to Joe and he's talked to Jason there some. I just wanted to check, we've run into a little issue with another company coming from out of town, bringing some dumpsters in. And we'll do that every now and again. Everybody wants to kind of test us some and see, you know, if we'll run them off or whatever. Well, this has happened twice with the same company in about the last 3 weeks or so. Or
Well,
yeah.
actually, that one dumpster, it was the same dumpster, it looked like two different ones, but they got stuck up there and had to drop it. The guy, I called the guy back, and he said that wasn't a big dumpster, they didn't haul anything out at all, that they had got stuck and they had to drop it to get out of there.
Okay, well,
And they assured me that they would not be back.
Okay. Before that, they had one down on West Main going on out
Okay, I didn't know that.
just a little ways, just about a week or two before that. We didn't know, and I've talked to Joe, and he's talked with Jason there about maybe kind of shoring up the wording on our contract there to where it doesn't just say trash pickup. You know, maybe it includes the words dumpsters, you know, roll-off dumpsters, rear-load dumpsters, just all, and residential, just anything in the city limits. And that might kind of, you know, sway some people off a little bit.
I think that's good, and the good thing is we just removed the franchise, so we need to get together for a new, to have the mayor sign off on the 10-year extension anyway, so.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because the residential pickup is pretty clear. Grayson Sanitation has the exclusive franchise, but the wording is not quite the way I would prefer for rollbacks and dumpsters. So we just need to make sure that.
Does that require any action from us, or will you just do that?
You all approved and I think, you know, you all approved the extension. We just need to get the paperwork together. And have Mr. Rice look at it, and the mayor look at it, sign it, and execute it, and get it done.
We'll notify the council if the alterations are made.
Yeah, that way.
I just asked in case somebody need to make a motion to have you do that. So we go.
I mean, if you want, I mean, basically what I.
But if we don't have to, then
Well,
just
what
go
I would
ahead.
ask is that we just frame the roll-offs and the commercial pickup to give Grayson Sanitation exclusive, which I believe it does anyway, but the language in the prior 10-year license is just not as clear as the residential part, so we just need to strengthen it.
So that's like for business pickup, Or is that any dumpster in the
Any
city?
dumpster in the city, so, you know, they have.
Unless it's personally owned.
Yeah, we've always said that if somebody's, doing a roofing job or something, they have their own trailer or something that they're hauling, then we just always left that alone. That's theirs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and release us for a brief 5-minute recess.
Good time for me to
We'll
go
be
home.
back. Thank the department heads and everyone for being patient. If I had better foresight, I probably would have let you report it first and then conducted our business. We had a lot of business. So I'm going to let Lana with tourism. She's here. She's not filming. I'm going to let her go ahead and just provide you with some information on tourism. Lana, you have the floor.
Okay. So obviously it's been first quarter. We haven't had a whole lot going on. We are working on the new budget so we can get some of you guys. I think that we requested to have you guys. I will tell you that we do have the Easter egg hunt that's going to be going on for the community. And Casey is offered to let us use the lawn at the public, which will be a good open space. And taking any donations anybody might want to send me or pre-filled Easter eggs, pre-filled I say. Otherwise, Donnie and Lindsay always help me plan over here. So that's really about what we have going on. We were able to do a $25,000 sponsorship for Memory Day so that they could get two pretty decent acts to come in. Music is very expensive. Healing sits on that order. And Kevin and I can tell you that this was the best groups that we could get for the money that we had. So that's really about what we have going on right now. Joe and I have still been looking into restoring the clock that we found. Right now, that the best thing that we have going on with that is about $9,000 that's for all four sides of the clock. That's the best thing. Yeah, what's some concrete and things like that. I always have a good plan. So, we were kind of thinking, are you guys familiar with the Back to the Future movie? Do you remember how they were like racing money to do their clock tower, get their clock tower fixed? Save the clock tower.
Yeah.
Well, and I have reached out to DeLorean clubs to see if they would be available because this summer, and I thought maybe that was something we could do, Back to the Future. Yeah, so I thought it'd be really cool anyway. And the last thing is I have been getting some estimates on what it would cost, because a lot of people have been asking, maybe a lot fixed over there where they put a building down. Best estimate that I've got so far for 150 feet of stone wall with a top on it, and then a 50 by 90 concrete pad down where we put the gravel in and where our trailers and ice hope to build up. Yeah, the skating rink. Is about 68,000, I think, all in for all of that, so that was a really good price. Probably will do it in stages. Based on the numbers that I just got on our budget line, I think that we have about 45,000 left. What we have on budget for produce this year, so obviously have to do it on stages or working on the budget. So that's for that.
Okay, thank you, Lana.
What we can do first.
I think probably the wall, because it's bad.
Taylor and Joe are good. Code board, please report.
Report was in there, so I didn't question it. Not a big exciting amount, but in February, it's more active than I thought it would be.
Just gonna note here, there was an addition, 131 North Terminal, Boulevard. What is that from?
It's first one.
Mr. Rick Eisen?
Oh, that's the, James ATV down here, they're having an addition on their, that old dollar store.
Okay.
Their store.
Yes. And then, of course, the permit was issued for the restaurant remodel for Hibachi. So, Mike Nelson told us a little bit about that today. It is verified, chamber verified.
Yes.
A fuss has been stirred over this,
Wow.
in a good way. Like,
Okay.
you know, like,
I was getting ready to
in
say.
a positive, like,
I will.
people were fired up.
I will gain more weight.
I was like, I manifested this
And there's
restaurant.
one more thing.
I know.
I did, it was sent to
This is our fun. I'm just gonna have to jump on the wagon. I'm always kind of. Okay, fine.
Go ahead, Taylor, what now?
I was just saying, you know, in March here now, we've already got another request for an event, there's a fellow putting a business in down on Interstate Drive selling those buildings. He's gonna have them set up there, where you can come in and look at them and buy them. Just like on the rock-
Like
You know, the
Amish.
Rodney Branch and stuff like
yeah.
that, it's a different kind of, older town just does that.
Taylor, I think that was suffice for your report. Mr. ABC, please.
ABC's actually, not so much on the last month, but so far in March, I've issued a license to Love's Truck Stop. Malt beverage package. There's one change of owner, Carbon Mark, it's changed name this year, that's the one that's going to College Street, the gas station there. They changed it, we have to get a new license.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the word.
A Carbon Mark, it's on the corner of College Street.
Oh, okay.
Carolina.
Yeah, okay.
And then Yummy Hibachi submitted his application.
It's 7 years.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you. Emergency management, please report.
Joanne gave you a picture there of the front of our incident command center. We've had that since about 2012. We've used it on numerous occasions. It was used one time out at Grayson's Lake for a missing person. Sheriff actually borrowed it one time and used it at the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds were still, the county fair was still at the fairgrounds. Of course, we set it up every year on Memorial Day, and we used it out here for the 4th of July. The graphics that are on it, we had it done in Nicholasville by a company there. They did a great job. It's a good looking command center for especially for a city our size to have something like that. Right now though, the front of the command center is starting to age drastically. It's a part that is not covered up, but it's not being used. The trailer is back in behind the fire department with a canopy over it. The two sides are covered pretty well, and the back is covered well, and they look brand new. But the front is starting to deteriorate. It's got cracks in it. It's turned kind of brownish.
Tell us how we're gonna fix it, Roger. How are we gonna fix it?
It was recommended that we went to sign companies that do that kind of stuff. We put wraps on cars and vehicles and whatnot. We went to Robertson's in Canova. We went to Coggles in Moorhead, and we went to Young's in Ashland, and all three of them told us that it was not something that they could do. The closest that we had was Young's in Ashland, and they said it would take them at least 3 days to take off the old front of it before it could be replaced, and it would cost $600 a day for them to take it off. And that was way much more than what we ever anticipated. We were told that maybe we could take it to a body shop. Went up here to Murray's and talked to them, and they said that's not even something that they want to mess with.
Roger, you're saying there's nothing we can do?
There doesn't look like there's anything we can do.
Unless we wanted to
somebody
manually
can
scrape it ourselves and
What
then.
about his man center?
If we do that, we're gonna shrink it down into the middle. So right now, it looks like we're just gonna leave it the way it is unless somebody can come up with a better idea.
Okay.
Because we really don't know.
Is that just a sticker?
I mean, it's okay right now, but he's just gonna continue.
Is it a sticker or were those painted on there? Is that a sticker or were those painted?
It's a decal.
Decal,
A
sticker.
graphic that you put on in vehicles. Any of the police cars, same thing.
Bailey's grinning over there. She wants to paint it so bad.
Oh, I don't wanna paint it.
Anyway, yeah.
I might have solutions in the future. Well,
I was just wondering if you could paint over it.
Well, we talked about that too, but they told us, the sign companies told us that it wouldn't hold up, that the cracks would just peel the paint off. So, I don't know, we're just at a loss of this.
Get you a sander.
What about Summit RV?
Didn't go to some
Airplane sticker.
We spent most of our time last month with that, but you got a report there for anything else. If anybody has any other questions, I'll be glad to.
Okay, well, thanks for letting us know about that.
We are gonna go ahead and get a tarp to cover up that end. So if you still want to work, if you
would like to look at that.
Okay.
Okay.
It's sitting right out there.
And again, one other thing too, if any of you, many of you have never seen the inside of it, if you ever get a chance, like on Memorial Day or Memory Days, come on, take a visit and let us show you what it can do. I mean, it's really been a valuable piece of equipment for the police department. The dive team used it out at the lake, and we're happy to have it. So I'd like to show it off if you'd like to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you, Roger and Joanne. Maybe we can figure something out by the time we pass our budget. Okay, so if there's nothing else, are there any questions for emergency management? I'm gonna pass this out quickly. We're moving on to fire department report. I just want the council to have this document. I'll explain what it is. Eddie, just one moment. So, we had a pretty significant, I'm not going to take all of Eddie's report here, but we had a pretty significant failure on Chief Felty's truck. And so we began the search for trying to find a new vehicle, chief vehicle. And then Eddie's recommending we get him one, so he made this. I'll throw you under the bus.
Back over.
Or the Durango, Dustin, throw him under there. No, I just quickly.
Under the ladder truck.
Chief Felty, as well as Deputy Rucker, we've been looking at these Durango models. There's a really good government incentive on these right now. For Chief Felty, we would probably recommend a Hemi Durango. The reason for that is he might have to haul things. Being fire chief, going up hills and in this countryside that we live in, you might need the extra engine power. Now, if we were to get a second for Chief Rucker, then he'd be acceptable with a V6, although he did get pulled over by a state trooper on the test drive. But he was tested. No ticket, they understood.
They will pull you over.
Lights and sirens. But no, Kevin has been putting this together for us, and I just wanted to give it to you. We're waiting on a quote from Pure Country as well as Glockner. Those are the two closest dealerships for us, so naturally we want to have their estimate. Right now, the best estimate, though, will be listed there for the V6 and the V8. Of course, we could also choose to increase our lease with Enterprise, and we have quotes on that as well. At this point, I'm kind of considering just if we do make purchases, and we're going to adjust for this in the budget, to purchase them outright. Based off what I saw with the lease, we could save about, what I seem to think would be about $5,000 if we just buy it, outfit it ourselves. We could use that money to go towards outfitting. So I want the council to have this. We will get better quality prices. The V8 is over $40,000, but there's a state master agreement that sets the price at $43,000, so we could buy it off that basis. Now you have this, and we'll follow up on this as we go into the budget, but Chief Felty, I think his truck's okay, but there was a pretty significant failure in it, and so we might need to move faster than June to get him a vehicle. So I wanted this right away. I'm sorry, Andy, please proceed.
The truck he had before was older, like close to 15 years old or something. I mean,
It was a 2015.
I thought it was 2011, my bad. That's new to me.
But the last significant fail, the top of the motor blown off. It wasn't the, it had something to do with external parts, not internal parts. He was going down the road.
Too much nitrous.
Yeah, it's not, and that's really what it like. That is. That big lamp move.
Yeah, no doubt. That scared me.
And is there anything else you need to report on for the sake of the fire department?
Y'all got my report? You got any questions about the report?
I don't know any questions.
We did get a $7,000 grant for gear. You have to pay first, and then they will reimburse you. Gotta have it done by
Well, way to go, guys, that's great news.
Yep.
Thank you.
And they've changed the way they've done their grant for this.
Who was that through?
It's through the
Fire commission.
Fire commission.
That will buy 2 sets of gear.
Wow.
Great.
If you look at the report, I want to show this to you. If you look under the main one here, so you don't have to go through everything. The breakdown. We had no structure fires in the month of February.
Well, you needed a break.
Well, we didn't get a break.
Oh, no.
The weather didn't help us at all.
Well, that's
You see
true.
all the EMS calls,
I did.
24, wasn't it?
all mutual aid and all that. We had to help them because of the roads.
Right.
We used our side by side on several, calls for them to get the people out of the house just to get it to the vehicles. Their vehicles couldn't make it up to certain spots. That's the only thing. But we had no structure fires, even mutual aid, so had structure fires. And they was just, all he was just as busy, as far as helping the EMS. And so was everybody in the county. Just everybody that had a side by side was helping the EMS because of the way the weather was. And if anybody got out and traveled on this ice, they knew what we had to go through.
No, I'm gonna let the council know that I put in a request with the state to get money for a fire truck apparatus, so we have that submission with our local officials, and hopefully that can help us with our search for a fire truck. And then, so I'll keep you updated on that. We will have to give some attention to what kind of fire. If we are gonna replace a fire truck, we'll decide that obviously in the budget, and, we probably should get a committee going so we can, so Chief Felty can give you some recommendations, and you all can get educated on that. Well, let's see if we can figure that out. We do need to set something up, so. I have nothing to report. We've conducted a lot of business. I think. Oh, thank you. Yes, I was getting straight.
Because I saw something on here I questioned.
Jennifer, I didn't even mean to skip it. David, please report.
Yeah, no, please.
Oh, okay, I'm losing. Well, let's see here. Dean's first? Is Dean first? Yes. Oh, I skipped Dean entirely. Go ahead, Dean.
I submitted my monthly report, any questions on that,
Dean, can you report to council what we're doing with the POP certification?
we are, pursuing, 3 applicants to POPs test. Looking to replace Officer Bell.
At a minimum.
Yeah, at a minimum. She can't hire them, can't do anything unless they pass that. As soon as we hear from that, the mayor knows. That's when we all.
Dean, do you have any recommendations for the council? Coming up, I mean, we've been talking about vehicles, fire trucks, fire department, anything you wanna give the council a heads up on that you might be recommending? How about you?
Yeah, I would like to increase the number of small houses.
Can you say it louder?
I'd like to increase more than just one officer.
Oh, so you're recommending that we hire a minimum one, but you would like to hire another?
Yes, the calls are getting more serious. Just about how many more people.
Did you get all the body cams already?
We do, we have about
NCIC, all that stuff working.
working great. Officers absolutely love it.
I really like it because obviously we gotta get a lot of complaints. And I don't go and look, because I take what I hear with a lot of salt, but I want to see it so I can tell. And I've had to tell several people, no, what you told me is not true. You know? And yes, and so I personally really appreciate that. And I don't appreciate the office.
You know, it protects everybody.
It does.
So,
I
okay.
was shocked when I heard that we did.
It's saved more than it's hurt.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt.
Dan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip you. Damon, I didn't mean to skip the street department, so.
What we got?
Okay. This is, I just have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, on, I was just lit on this second entry here in the monthly report, that Damon and Chris worked on the Frederick School lot cleaning. Has the city always cleaned the school lot? I happen to know, because I know what's going on.
They were having trouble busting through that big house, and they requested we get that.
So this was just the one time.
We did not put no salt on the property.
Oh, they got everybody.
They got Adam Wells up there, they got Justin, high school.
Well, like I said,
It was a mutual
I
aid.
just happened to know, and that's nice, but I just thought, is this something that,
It's not every.
because they got people, they got equipment.
Their equipment was not even
We have to
even
learn.
close to. They were just.
And I also noticed the church lots, for some reason, they didn't want it. But the school, I was like, are you kidding? Because, you know.
Out there where they
want
deliver food.
Oh, that was a food bank.
Yeah, which is, you know, a church would not have equipment, I understand that. Okay, that's all I have.
Yeah.
I wanna be there for that.
What?
The typo on here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not, no, it's not the truck, it's just funny. Okay. Any questions for our street department? We'll bring that up later. Okay, I have no, don't need anything. Jimmy, anything?
Actually, I had one other thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If
I
you're
thought-
going
I
around
apologize.
that
I
circle,
thought-
well,
go
it's
ahead.
kind of, this is kind of street part. I just happened to be walking down Main Street a couple days ago, and where the bricks are just laid around where the trees are, the one in front of the library. It's probably due to freeze thaw cycles and everything, but it's all out of kilter, and somebody will no doubt trip there, and it looks like there would be, so that needs attention before somebody sees us, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're talking about where the trees are.
Yeah, it's the one in front of the library.
Didn't we have this discussion about the trees and the roots and certain
Well,
trees?
that
A year ago.
the only, and there may be
We have
others.
many times.
I just noticed that one
It's pretty
because
bad.
I was the
That happens
person that understood. I thought, oh, Lord, somebody else knows this. It'll be a thing. Well, it was a totally wrong kind of tree. No doubt about it.
Especially the concrete stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is if it's a tree in our garage.
Yeah,
Maybe y'all get a chance to look at it.
There's several things. I always thought it would be good to build a curve around the square so that people can't walk into the.
I've seen it like that in other places.
Thanks, Jennifer, you brought it to our attention. Let's work, guys, and see. what we
Because
can do.
I just thought right in front of the library, people were out, somebody found the tree.
Actually, yeah, okay. Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay.
I was told by one of the residents that, I haven't seen it for myself, but the walking track was looking pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
It's looking good.
I was down there today. It's fine.
It's what?
And it has a few sticks and we picked up the track itself.
Like in the center part?
Yeah, like I said, in the center, and like I said,
Like the
you got your
landscaping?
foliage, but the track itself is in good
Okay.
shape.
I think they were referring to the landscaping.
After all that wind over the weekend, it's probably.
We'll take a look at Blake's getting too. Hopefully we can get, is Colton back?
The cold is like this.
See if we- Well, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the kind of stuff, the inmates could even help us with.
First thing I thought of. Yeah.
So you do, good sign.
Okay. Well, we'll move on now to administration. My biggest concern was the municipal tax. We'll take a look at that, talk about it later. Is there any old business that we haven't addressed? Okay. Is there any additional new business? No other new business. Is there any public comment? No public comment? Mayor's report. Again, just thank you for administration. I'll keep my report to just the fact that I'd like to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters related to potential dismissal or what's the opposite of dismissal? Appointment of city officers and such. So, Jason, anything you'd like to?
No, just, issues as they come up, try to take care of them.
Okay, with that, we're in executive session. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
I'll make
Bradley's first and Jennifer's second. All in favor, vote by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries.